I am trying something totally new. I am, number one, trying out putting out a video onto my Spotify podcast at the same time whilst trying to get it set up to put on YouTube as well. Just trying to give you more and more places to listen to what some of you may just call total nonsense, and some people might find entertaining, and hopefully the majority of you actually finding that this is actually quite helpful. So I'm actually recording this now, and it's about 7:05 on a Sunday night. And if you're watching this, you can see I'm in a rather extravagant pink and white stripy shirt. It's been Sunday roast carvery day, you know, and you're supposed to dress in your finest, aren't you? Well, supposed to. Anyhow, the subject of what I want to talk to you about today is a couple of things, really. One is how so many men just never really achieve permanent change. Okay, that's the first thing. I want to talk to you about the amount of muscle that we've got can really dictate our longevity and the quality of life that we've got moving forwards. And I also want to talk to you about something called Captain Crayon Eater. I don't know how many of my posts you watch, or if any, but there's one that I did that I think a few people found quite funny and decided to make it into a t-shirt. But I want to explain to you what that is and why it is I've decided to use that phrase. But anyway, too many men, well, not just men, too many people never make permanent change. You know, I look back at the amount of people that I've worked with over my entire career and just think, wow, it's a lot. You know, I tried to work it out one day. As you can imagine, I don't have diaries going back to, 1998 when I first started. But, I'm looking in and around 100,000 hours worth of personal training. Now, obviously, some people had, 3 sessions a week, every week for a few years. So it's not like that's 100,000 people. However, with what I do now and work with people all over the world in a more remote fashion, maybe we're not looking too far off that. But out of all of those people that I've worked with, and they've had me, they've had me on their case, really helping them to make it a real behavioural life change, lifestyle, if you want to call it that. And that's before we start talking about, the amount of people that don't have that luxury. Is it a luxury? Is it a necessity? I don't know. Of having a coach with them that have jumped from diet to diet, that have jumped from mindset to mindset, from emotional place or mental health place, if you want to label it that, from place to place as well. And I'm hoping that I can give you something now that's going to be able to help you to approach things a little bit differently. Now, I could just have turned up here today with my realistic and sustainable t-shirt on and just go, well, you just got to be realistic and sustainable, yeah, which of course will work. Certainly if you buy one of the t-shirts as well. Colgate Smile, bing, link attached. It's not attached. I'm not that kind of guy. But ultimately, something that we all have to do, and I am going to talk about the realistic and sustainable side of things to start with, right? Because joking aside, this is really, really key. Now, too many people are getting to a point of pain where they're like, I don't like how I look, I don't know how I feel, I don't know how I operate, I don't know how people might be thinking about me. The list goes on and on and on. That's before we start talking about going on holiday and how you're going to look, how you're going to feel, blah, 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 blah. And this is also before we start talking about health and, and mental health and things like that. At the end of the day, you've got your hand on a boiling kettle. Whoa, you want to do anything you can as quick as you can to get your hand away from that. That's the point of pain that you're in. So we jump to something that seems to be pretty straightforward, pretty easy, doesn't really affect us too much, or we don't think it does. And that could be that you're either, buying a certain weight watching, slimming kind of product and you're just buying that, or you could be using other kind of meal replacement shakes that maybe have a herbal or a juicy kind of nature. Do you see what I did there? Made a few little subtle insinuations, plugs, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. And ultimately these do exactly what they sound as in, don't they? I'm trying not to just kind of summarize what I say all the time and just be that guy that always says the same thing over and over. But we do that, right? And we never really make a permanent change. I've never met anybody that's been on a meal replacement shake diet that is still on a meal replacement shake diet, or has certainly lost the amount of weight or the amount of body fat that they lost, and they have maintained all of it, okay? Most people don't. They put it all back on again and some. And maybe this is you listening in. Firstly, nothing wrong with that. Okay, we all being funny. I mean, I've got guys in that are clients of mine inside my coaching program from all over the world that are personal trainers, that are fully qualified dietitians, that are nutritionists, that are therapists and stuff, and yet they come to me. And by the way, I've had coaching and still do have coaching from time to time as well. So it's totally normal, okay? But what we just have to do is pull our head out of our arse for a minute and just ask ourselves very sensibly, just pull ourselves away from the instant knee-jerk kind of reaction decision type thing that we normally have, and just go, right, hang on a minute. Is the approach I'm going to have right now going to be, is it going to last me to the end of the week, the end of the month, the end of the year, so on and so forth? And that would be your first thing to do. But the other thing is, and again, I'm trying not to be one of those people that just uses all these buzzwords all the time and starts using the phrase mental health every 5 seconds, that uses the word normalization every 5 seconds and all the rest of it. It's a thing. Of course it is. I'm not saying it's not, but I'm just trying to talk a very international language, if that makes sense. I don't know if international is the right word, but hopefully you catch my drift. I'm trying to penetrate everybody's minds and using terminology that are phrases that everyone understands. Okay, but I'm going to use the word visualization. And don't get me wrong, visualization isn't just have a dream and just hope it kind of comes true. But when you've got a very, very clear picture in your head of exactly what it is you want to achieve, and you can apply this to anything, by the way. This doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be about weight loss or a physique or a body or something you want to accomplish in that kind of field. This can be anything. This can be how you want your kids growing up to think about you. This can be the amount of money you got in the bank, the house you live, the car you drive, so on and so forth. But if you can truly visualize that, and you can really see it and smell it and touch it and feel it all inside your own mind, and to kind of match with that, you actually have a must. Like, this is something that's, whatever it is for you, it is mega important. This is really going to make you, well, feel great. But so that's another thing, is to kind of really understand how this would make you feel when you have achieved this. And again, whether that's a great big hug from your kids saying how much they love and respect you, or whether it's walking into the front door of the 25-bedroom castle that you've got overlooking a lake, or whatever it is, that if you can visualize it and it's for you a must, and it's for you, it's something that you could actually properly see, where you've manifested it in your mind so much, all you've literally got to do then is the educated process to make it happen, right? And I'm trying not to, number one, make this sound too complicated, but number two, not make it sound so obvious and so easy that tomorrow everyone's going to be millionaires or billionaires even. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's going to have their own spaceship in the garden. Because it's not like that, all right? Some things do take longer. You can't necessarily put a time frame on these kind of things, but if something is that important to you, you will damn well make it happen. All right, your back's been against the wall before, isn't it? And I've done a post like this recently. It's probably due to come out sometime soon, where your back's been against the wall and you've been like, right, shit, I've got no money in the bank. The mortgage payment's due to come out, or the bailiffs are due to come tomorrow, and I need to make sure this is paid, that's paid. Or maybe it's, the other half has said to you, right, we need to have a sit-down talk because things aren't working, we need to go our separate ways. And you can, bang, literally on the spin of a coin, boom, make massive radical change and correct something. You can make things happen, right? Your back's been against the wall. It's been something that you felt that you must do. And you could probably visualize, oh my God, can you visualize the bailiffs coming, kicking the door in, taking the sofa and the TV out? You can visualize, your other half packing the suitcases and being at the front door going, bye, see ya, and then freezing your bank accounts or whatever it is, right? You can probably sort of visualize that in your head because you've probably watched the EastEnders too many times, and both of those things are probably on the same episode, right? Now, if you can visualize what it is that you want, and it's something that you really must make a change, and you know how it's going to feel, on the positive side of things when you've achieved it, literally it's just a case of the process, because there's nothing that's going to stop you. Nothing. If it's something that important to you, nothing will stop you. And you'll attempt it and you'll fail it. So you'll get back up again, you brush your dirt off and stuff, and you will go again. And you will attempt it, and you may have failed it again, but you will not stop going. And it is those relentless people, the Rocky Balboas of our lives, that get to the other side and get what they want. Now, what you can do, obviously, is then to go and get professional help, okay? You can't just visualize and hope that a broken leg's going to fix itself, right? Ideally, you could probably do with a little bit of, professional help like that, right? And the same with obviously health and fitness. And this isn't a plug to join my program. I'm not even going to give you a call to action or tell you how to apply. This is literally just because I want to put this out there for people to think about. When you actually get people that are going to take the guesswork away, you accelerate the duration of you achieving what it is that you want. Okay. Now, this isn't, maybe if you've listened this far, then fair play. If you've kind of switched off at that point, going, oh yeah, whatever. Listen, this is unarguable. You can't argue with this. If you really want something, you push really hard for it, and you're doing it in a way that is effectively guaranteed to make it happen, what the hell is going to stop? Because lots of people have the vision, have the want, have the desire, have the feeling, and then don't actually take the educated steps towards making it happen. Therefore, it's probably luck that takes them there. Or they've got all the education, they've got all the tools, all the systems, all the processes, all the routines, etc. to make it happen, but they just don't have the want, they don't have the must. And there's nothing driving them to make it happen, so therefore it doesn't happen. Put those two essential ingredients together and kaboom, the results are yours, whatever that result may be. So I just wanted to put that out there and say, do you know what? Number one, this is not a plug to join my program. I'm not going to mention it again. And it also is something that I want you to think about in every context of life. Okay, this is not just about dropping body fat, building muscle, lifting a weight up, running a distance. This is applicable to absolutely everything. And do you know what would be great? All right, I'm plugging the program, but I'm plugging this podcast. If there's someone you think you could probably do with hearing this, just look down at how many minutes have passed by. 11 minutes, 12 minutes pretty much on the button now. Tell them, here's the link to it. Go and copy and paste the link, send it over to them, go and have a listen to this, because there's just a little, a couple of words there that you might help. And that's another thing, really. I try on these podcasts not to go down a rabbit hole and start talking about all different things and stuff, right? But sometimes there's just a couple of phrases, a sentence even, that you can hear, read, see, and it can literally change your life. Would you agree with that? Some things that resonate with you so deep that it just literally just smacks you straight in the nuts. And you're like, oh, yeah, that absolutely, yeah. And, whether that's because you subscribe to this, motivational like videos on YouTube, or whether you watch certain things on reels on social media, or whether you just watched a film and, Denzel, Mr. Washington, has said something, or The Rock, Dwayne, he said something, or Stallone, or Schwarzenegger, or Anne Hathaway, I don't know, whoever it is that has said something that's just hit you. There's loads of films that The Greatest Showman, to me, is one that I just watch on so many different levels that always leaves me kind of coming away from it going, shit, yeah, And I think the more you can surround yourself with more and more of this, yes, inspiring stuff, but understand that there was the want, there was the hope, there was the desire, there was the need, there was the must, and a lot of the time there was education, all right? Whether it was self-education from learning from their own mistakes, or whether it's because they fast-tracked it and actually got some help. So too many men don't make permanent change, they make short-term gains. Not just men, again, obviously this is to everybody, but too many people, they never get a long-term change. And ultimately, I think it's because of an education thing. And I don't mean that in a condescending way. Or it's because there isn't the thought, the realistic, the sustainable, the education, the vision, so on and so forth. So there's a few bits and pieces for you to think about. Now, my next point, muscle, right? I was in two minds there to just reach forward and press the stop button, but I held back. This podcast, you're going to get, a couple of bits all in one. Muscle for longevity is what if you keep seeing me looking down, by the way, it's because for once I did actually write some notes. I wrote 3 little sentences. One, muscle for longevity, and then obviously the one I've just spoken about, the permanent change, and the other one was Captain Crayon. Bang, 3 points. That's all I've written down. No other notes. That was it. But muscle for longevity, I can't stress enough, and I think too many people. There's a phrase, isn't there? You're alive up until you're about 22 and then you're dying. And I heard that the other day and I was like, Jesus, that's strong, isn't it? That's powerful. And I actually started to think about it, and I was like, I don't know if I agree with the first number, but certainly the idea of this, of, you're living and you're alive, and you're taking everything that you can out of life up until a certain point, and then you start taking things for granted, and you relax, and you just kind of accept that life is pulling you downwards now, not pushing you up. And I see this in so many people in my own personal life, not even just, people that I see wanting my help. Obviously, staying fit and healthy is always going to be advantageous to your health, right? It just is, isn't it? Everyone knows that. It reduces your body fat. Your body works a little bit better on the inside. Pretty much unarguable in that sense. But when it comes down to like the typical kind of quality of life, obviously having an element of cardiovascular fitness, so that you can walk up and down your stairs, etc. You can go and walk around town. You can go for a walk on the beach. And I'm not just saying, for longevity. I'm not just saying now in your 40s or your 50s or your 60s. I'm talking about your 80s. All right? When just because you're 80 doesn't mean you need to go and sit in a flipping chair in a home, does it? Like, you've still got potentially a hell of a long time to live. I read a stat the other day. Excuse me. At the time of recording this, it's September of 2024. And something that I read, and I don't know how official this is, but you can kind of, make sense of it. Children that are born today have an average age forecast of 120. That is pretty astounding, isn't it? Whether it's true or not, rewind time and think, do you know what? I remember being a kid, and, people's grandparents at school making it to like 74, 75, 76, 77, and people going, oh, yeah, they had a good innings, didn't they? And you just go, yeah, okay, because that was kind of normal. If people made it into their 80s, wow, they only are getting on. If they're in their 90s, but it was unheard of. You knew someone that even knew someone that knew someone that knew someone that had got a letter from the Queen because they 100. You just didn't hear of it. So number one is get clear on, age is just a number, but it does represent also, to a degree, how much time you've got left, right? And my point is just making sure that the time that you have got left is actually quality. And if you are in your 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever, that you are casting your mind just a little bit, just give it a little bit of a thought of, well, who do you want to be when you're 80, when you're 85, when you're 90? Do I need to go on? I saw a picture the other day, Clint Eastwood, 94, walking into his studio, still working full-time, more than full-time, 94. And he was filling up his gas tank in his car. I saw another video of him doing that. I'm just thinking, fair play. I've got clients that are in their late 70s and some in their early 80s that don't necessarily have full-on coaching with me anymore, but we're still in contact. One guy took up powerlifting at 72, was a powerlifting champion and record holder at 75. The guy's totally switched on, still working full-time, still looking after his wife as well, still running around after his kids, doing everything. Totally switched on, very, very happy, so on and so forth. But anyway, I kind of digress a bit. My point is, do you want to be the kind of person that needs help getting in and out of a chair? Now, I don't know about you, but my current mind right now is I don't want someone helping me doing that right now. I was in hospital at the beginning of the year having some work done on my knee, and I was still like, no, you're right, love. And the nurse trying to literally get under my armpit to pull me out of my chair. I was like, no, I'll do it myself, thanks. I can do it. I can do it, so I'm going to do it. I'm not always reaching out for help just because it's there. I'll ask for help when I need it, not just because, it's there. And that kind of got me thinking a lot as well was, when I'm in my 80s, I want to be getting out of my chair like a typical guy does in his 40s. Why not? And how do we do this? Well, number one, we stay active and we stay fit and we stay healthy and so on and so forth. But we keep working those exercises. I'm due a knee replacement, right? I still squat. I don't squat heavy. If you're watching this, you can see my barbells over there in the corner. Very rarely do they have much weight added to them, but I keep the movement going. I keep the muscles strong. Okay. I still make sure I walk X amount. I normally carry a rucksack on my back with a few kilos in it, and just keep it working. I don't want to be an invalid just because of the number that is imprinted on my birth certificate. All right. And you have control over that. Keep strong, keep moving, and make sure you're looking at how can you maintain some level of muscle mass. All right. If a bus hits me when I'm 80, I want to leave a mark on the bus, put it that way. I want to make sure that I'm sturdy and I'm strong. And that I am going to talk about my great grandparents who did actually get hit by a bus. One of them got totally smashed up. My grandmother and my grandfather got up at 88 because he'd stayed so active his whole life. So let that be a lesson to you, stay strong with the fundamental lifts, squats, deadlifts, overhead press, bench press, and just keep your arms, keep your legs moving and stay flexible. All right. You need muscle for your longevity and for the quality of your life moving forwards. Last of all, I can see the time of it just gone past 20 minutes. And as you know, if you watch or listen to these, I like to keep them not short and sweet, like 2 or 3 minutes, see ya, I like to make sure I don't go on and on and on. I went to watch a podcast earlier and I saw that it was, I can't remember who it was with now. It was either a Stephen Bartlett one or a Joe Rogan one. I saw it was 4 hours and 11 minutes. And I was like, well, I'll save that for the next long journey that I've got. So that's why these generally tend to be in and around the half-hour mark, right? Or we go into a second episode. The next one is Captain Crayons. Now, as of today, I have just received the prototypes of some new T-shirts that I've got to, hopefully you guys are going to buy them. Now, firstly, I do like to show an element of transparency. I am never going to become a zillionaire, a billionaire, or even a millionaire, or probably not even a thousandaire. Is that a thing? From selling T-shirts, right? I just come up with these funny little phrases, or my clients or people who watch my content say, ha, funny word you just said there. You should put it on a T-shirt. So I thought, do you know what? Why not? If it's something that you think is funny or you like it or it's motivating or whatever, and you can kind of buy it and it's not really all that expensive. And to be fair, the T-shirts are pretty good quality there. Guess what? That's sustainable material. I think at the minute, they're about 17 quid a T-shirt, something like that. And when I looked at other people doing the same things as me, selling them for like $23.99, I was like, a day off it's a T-shirt, $23.99. I was trying to earn more profit. We don't earn hardly anything off of it. It's just literally, to do it, it brings in a couple of quid, and it probably pays for my haircut once every 2 weeks, which is 14 quid. All right. Anyhow, Captain Crayons. I have a T-shirt coming out called I think it's called Crayon Eater. And one of the guys that is one of my other coaches inside the program, his name's Dave. He was inside the program for like 2 years. Did really, really well, and I just really liked him, so I offered him a job, and now he works for me full-time, has done for a couple of years, and he's awesome. But this is a phrase he said to me. I'll get a lot of shit from people on social media. Do you know what? Maybe if you're listening, maybe it's you. All right, and if it is, hello, welcome to the show. Have a glorious time. I'll get a lot of shit from people that basically tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about, despite the fact that I am fully qualified and have probably just as much experience of doing this as they have got of being alive, because it tends to be a certain age demographic that decides to say nasty things. I've been told how to end my own life. I got sent a YouTube link of how to make a noose to hang myself with. I've been told some awful stuff of what my parents think of me and all the rest of it. And ultimately, if you sit in there on my stuff, it's very positive, very uplifting, very happy, and it's just showing people different ways of doing exercises. Nothing's unsafe. But a lot of people think that every time you go to the gym, you need to be a meathead. It's all about lifting the heaviest weight, getting the most out of it. But it's not. Okay, it's about enjoyment. It's about knowing how your head works, psychologically, mentally, so on and so forth. If you're going to the gym doing the same thing every single session, or certainly, a Monday, Wednesday, Friday routine that you're doing every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you do it for years and years and years and years and years and years. Whether you think you're going to continue getting results or not, it's going to be very tempting when it's raining outside and El Dorado is playing back again on TV. All right, when your favourite TV show comes back on, you're going to want to go and watch that instead. And you can very quickly be veered off. However, keep things interesting, keep things light. I don't mean light in weight, but I mean, not taking things terribly seriously. Having a nice time in the gym, looking forward to your sessions, understanding, oh, look, my body feels different after doing this exercise. You like it, you enjoy it, you share it with your friends. And it's just a very positive experience. Okay, so it's not always about doing what is 100% the only best thing to do, because you'd be surfing the internet all day long of what is the best thing to do. So for me, confront your mindset, confront your attitude, and actually do stuff that is A, going to work, but B, you're more likely to keep going back and continuing to do. So anyway, these people that are just being quite nasty to me, once upon a time, Dave said to me, he just called them crayon eaters. And it just made me laugh, because I just imagine like a kid in a nursery school Like, it's just jumping into a red, green, or a blue crayon, you know. I don't remember me doing it. I don't remember eating mud or anything like that. But it just made me laugh. And I was just like, yeah, that is probably the mentality of the people that are deciding to take time out of their day to watch one of my videos from start to finish and then comment something negative. So I thought, Crayon Eater. Yeah, why not? So it's in that typical Crayola font, all different colours, and Eater underneath and stuff. It's funny. I've got some other ones coming out. There's a deadlift one saying deadlift, nudge the fudge. There's some other phrases that I'd say a lot in the program. I say it's been emotional. Peace out, which you'll probably hear me say at the end of this at the end of this podcast. There's loads of. I think I've got 5. So yeah, when those links come out, feel free to just go and have a look. Do you know what I mean? Even just a look and just have a giggle at it, understanding there's a little bit of a reason for it. The deadlift, nudge the fudge. I'll let that one sit with you, and you can read between the lines as to what that means. But look, ultimately, in summary of what I've spoken about this evening, too many people never make permanent change. All right. And that ultimately, when you started off, when you set out, I'm going to lose some weight, I'm going to, live longer, I'm going to improve how I look and how I feel and all the rest of it. And not one point did you say, I'd like to look better for a weekend and then die early. Sounds a bit harsh, doesn't it? But you didn't say that. Of course you went into it with the idea, wouldn't this be nice to have this forever? That is what you thought, and you know it as well as I do. So what we have to do is make sure it is a realistic and sustainable approach. And you are looking at your reasons why and what they mean to you, and having the guesswork taken away. And you put all those things together, and it's as good as done. It is literally, the results are sitting there on a shelf waiting for you to take. The other one was obviously the muscle for longevity. The quality of your life, making sure that you're staying fit and active and actually resistance training, the movements that you're likely to do for the rest of your life. Sitting in and out of a chair, on and off the toilet, in and out of the car, these are things you're going to be doing forever, most likely. Deadlift, again, bending over, picking something up off the floor. You're going to most likely be doing that forever. So keep doing it and become strong at that movement. So never really picking up a biro off the floor is never an issue, right? Because you can actually pick up a barbell off the floor. Right, things like bench press and overhead press, these are great functional movements to do. Bent over rows, brilliant exercise to do. So yeah, the muscle for longevity. And just remember, think forwards to you at 85. Do you want to be that person that's stuck in a chair, probably stuck there for too long, where you're going to wet yourself until someone helps you, shoehorn you out of the chair, or do you just go bang up and out of the chair and move on because you can? All right, and you will be someone that people look at in a very inspirational and aspirational way. And then obviously the last thing I said there was about the Captain Crayons. There are lots of people being negative in this world, whether it's on my social media or whether it's your next door neighbour, the person that shares the desk opposite you, people in the supermarket, and I'm gonna do another podcast all about this, not just about the t-shirt, obviously, just about little tips, hacks, methods, things, insights, etc., that I've actually found very useful over the last sort of 4 or 5 years of having lots of people tell me some very nasty things, of the journey I've kind of gone through in how I've heard it, how I've dealt with it, what people around me have said, what things have been really common that friends and family have said, and what some of the uncommon stuff that people have said, what's actually resonated with me, what's just gone off my back, like water off a duck's back. It's going to give you a bit of an insight of how to kind of navigate your way through that, and kind of get to this point of, just fuck off, one of that kind of attitude, whatever, Trevor, and, keep moving forwards. Anyhow, thank you for listening. And maybe if it was you that was watching, I've tried something new tonight, and I'm conscious I keep looking between cameras. I've got a new microphone that I've been fiddling about with, so hopefully the sound quality hasn't been too shit, and you've actually been able to get through this and enjoy it. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's been emotional. Peace out.